This is Contemplative at Home, and you are always so very, very warmly welcome here. As you settle in for prayer, I want to invite you to take a moment to just check in with yourself. Check in physically, mentally, emotionally. Notice how you are as you pause today. And with that noticing, I invite you to bring some stilling, some settling, letting it all come down to land like the little flakes in a snow globe. Arriving in this present moment. You might want to silently state your intention here, why you've paused for prayer today, and if there's anything that you're hoping for from this time aside with your beloved, you might want to ask for that now. I want to invite you to bring your awareness to your breath, to feel the gentle inhale and exhale, to be attentive to the swelling and contraction. And now, if you're seated or standing, I want to invite you to bring one of your hands to your heart center, to your sternum. Feeling the warmth pass between the hand and the chest. And then remaining attentive to the breath, ever so slightly, I'm going to invite you to begin to make very small circles with your heart center that are parallel to the ground beneath you. So your hips stay where they are, and your heart center just begins to move back ever so slightly, then around towards the left knee and the right knee, and then back towards the back of the chair, or to come over the sits bones, or even slightly further back, and then smoothly moving around and around. Sometimes we call this the coffee grinder, like those old-fashioned top-handled coffee grinders. This movement can be very slow and very small. I do invite you to move with your breath, so we might inhale as we come forward and exhale as we slowly circle around to the back. Then, keeping your hand on your heart, I invite you to gently reverse the circle to go around in the other direction, nice and slow, moving with your breath, making a circle with your heart center. And as you're ready, gently bringing it back in to a neutral position. In her book, The Reed of God, Carol Houselander opens with a meditation on the virginal qualities of Mary that were something like an emptiness. Not an emptiness that was formless or without purpose, but an emptiness that had a very specific shape and a very specific intention. So there's an invitation today to meditate on our own emptiness, our own readiness to receive the Christ life in us. So if your hand is still resting on your heart, you can keep it there, or you might want to let your hands rest gently in your lap. And I'm going to invite you to travel in your awareness down into your own heart. Whatever that might mean for you just now. To travel into the deepest part of yourself that you can access just now. As we rest our awareness in this deep inner place, I invite you to keep part of yourself aware of your breath. And your mind will be busy firing off many different thoughts to pull you away from your attentiveness in this deep place. If you're able to just let your mind carry on doing what it needs to do, whilst you keep your attention down here in your heart, that's the invitation here. And if you do get caught up in what's happening in your mind for a few moments, just very gently return your attention back to your heart center when you realize that it's gone elsewhere. So once again, I invite you to gently allow the focus of your attention to alight, to land on the interior depths of your being. And as you rest here, I invite you to know yourself bathed in the gentle light of the Lord's love. And now I invite you to become curious about whether you can find in yourself any willingness or desire to be empty and available for the beloved. Staying curious and non-judgmental about what arises. I invite you to rest with any desire that begins to make itself known to you. And as you continue to be curious about any desire or willingness you have to be empty and available for the beloved, perhaps your heart will begin to form words or shapes or pictures that express this desire. Don't rush the forming of these words and pictures. Let them gently take shape in their own time. And if anything begins to clarify in your knowing, with a little bit of distance, I invite you to observe any reactions that come up in you to what's arising here. Perhaps noticing if there's a part of you that likes or dislikes this image. And then I invite you to ask yourself, is there anything I need to lay aside in order to be available in this way? Again, very gently and non-judgmentally, observing what arises as you listen. And now that you're aware of this space in you, this hollow, perhaps you'd like to begin to imagine Christ filling this space in whatever way Christ desires to fill it. Again, I invite you to notice how this feels to you, what your reactions are, observing without judgment. Before we begin to take our leave of this seeing, this knowing, I want to offer you some moments to dialogue with the Lord about this, or just to simply sit in the light of Christ's love, holding what you have seen here. And now I invite you to imagine yourself going about the ordinary business of your day today. And perhaps seeing you in all the places and spaces you will occupy with a new perspective of what you have seen and sensed here in prayer. What do you notice? If you wish, I invite you to bring your hand to your heart once again and to slowly find your way back to those little circles with the heart center. May the gentle motion of your body consecrate what you've seen and understood here. Just reversing the circle. Coming back to a neutral position. We say with Mary, "Here am I, the servant of the Lord. Let it be with me according to your word." Here am I, the servant of the Lord. Let it be with me according to your word. Amen. Amen. And again, I thank you deeply from the bottom of my heart for the great privilege it is to share in your sacred space today. It's always a great delight for me to connect with you, so I would love it if you want to pop over to my website, contemplativeathome.com, where you can sign up for my monthly newsletter and find out about some of the real-time 2-hour retreats that I like to share with you. I'd love to see you there. Advent blessings, dearest one.